So we've talked quite a bit about building bone. Let's talk about the other side of this. What happens to our bones as we age? So aging, aging affects bones in a couple of different ways. First, the tensile strength of bone decreases due to a reduced amount of protein. So the osteoblasts are making less protein. Well, that results in the relative amount of inorganic minerals increasing due to the decreased matrix protein, and the bones of the skeleton become brittle and susceptible to fractures. Second, bone loses calcium and other minerals. We call that demineralization. As you can see in this image of the lady at the top, the bones of the skeleton become thinner and weaker, resulting in insufficient ossification. We call this condition osteopenia. Anytime you see penia, I want you to think of shortage. In order to determine, in order to determine bone mass, we can look at the density using a dual energy X-ray absorptiometry scan. Yeah, let's just call it a DEXA scan. So it's very similar to a traditional X-ray because it's non-invasive, but it provides images and calculations to determine if the bone examined is at its normal for the age of bone mass or if the bone mass has been reduced. As we mentioned previously, osteopenia is bone shortage. So aging causes all people to start to lose bone mass. So we all become sort of slightly osteopenic. The reduction in bone mass can begin as early as 35 to 40 years of age, when your osteoblast activity slows down, but osteoclast continues like it was. So basically your osteoclast are breaking down more bone than we are building. Your vertebrae, your mandible, and your epiphyses lose relatively large amounts of mass, resulting in reduced height, loss of teeth, and fragile limbs. Now, every decade, women lose roughly more of their skeletal mass than men do. A significant percentage of older people suffer from osteoporosis. Osteoporosis, holy bones. So it's a it's a condition that's characterized by reduction in bone mass sufficient to compromise normal function. Now, there are several things that increase your risk of developing osteoporosis, and of course that includes your family history, the older you get, onset of menopause when estrogen levels decrease. Certain races are more prone to osteoporosis. If you smoke cigarettes, if you lead an inactive lifestyle, so get some exercise, people. Decreased levels of vitamin D, growth hormone, estrogen, testosterone. Now, because of the estrogen, postmenopausal women or women that have gone through menopause are at the highest risk because estrogen helps us to make and preserve bone. So a decrease in bone mass leads to weak bones, and of course weak bones with less bone mass are going to be much more at risk for fractures, especially the wrist, the hip, and the vertebrae. So the best way to prevent this is increase your physical activity, increase your calcium and the nutrients in your diets. Avoid things that take minerals away or leach them from your blood, such as carbonated beverages and alcohol. There are medical treatments as well that can slow the rate of bone loss and stimulate new bone growth. Now, of course, typically this is something that is done once osteopenia has gotten severe and is leading into osteoporosis. However, that exercise and eating right and avoiding the things you should avoid, you can start that at any age, so start now.